Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gaming with me, Tony Mo, and today we're going to talk about No Man's Sky. A lot of you have been asking me, begging me to talk about No Man's Sky, because of course I cover Star Citizen, I cover Elite, all these other space games, and at the forefront of all these new, sort of sci-fi space experiences is most definitely No Man's Sky. Now, is it a very different game, a very different beast when compared to something like Star Citizen or Elite Dangerous? I would say most definitely yes, but we're not going to spend the countless amount of hours it would probably take breaking down all of these different discussions on games that aren't even fully finished or released yet. Instead, I just wanted to talk about what I've seen of No Man's Sky and how I'm approaching the hype and excitement surrounding it. As you all know, I'm very much someone who goes into things with a positive attitude. I think that the fact that so many people are ready to go into just about everything in life, especially when it comes to new video game releases these days, they go in with a negative, just instantly they're negative. Whether they feel they've been treated poorly in the past by game developers or whatever the reasoning is for that, they go in headfirst with negative thoughts filling their head. How can you ever, critique something if you go in looking at it so harshly before you've even experienced it? Like, I would never go to a new restaurant and just instantly decide that I already thought the food was going to be shit. I've never even been there, but it's shit. I haven't even read any reviews on the game yet, or on the food yet. I'm just going to go into this brand new restaurant, just to open, and it's going to be shit. I know it is. And then you sit there with this disdain and you eat the food, and there's no way mentally that you're going to fully enjoy that experience no matter how good it was. So I very much have a positive outlook on No Man's Sky, and a big part of that, if you want to talk about, having the negativity sort of waved away with some level of confidence by the developers, you have Shawn frickin' Murray. And I absolutely love that man. He is he is such a real person. I don't think I've ever seen someone who is so acceptable with the fact that he is not a presenter. He doesn't make videos for a living. He doesn't present, vocally speak about games for a living. He's a developer. He's a coder. He's a programmer. That's what he does. That's where he's comfortable. That's his space. That's where he goes. That's his happy place. As distorted and as disturbing as I'm sure being a programmer and a coder can often be, that is very much his happy place. And when he comes out and when you hear him talk about No Man's Sky, he is very much straightforward with you about the game. He doesn't speak about grand promises, he talks about what is on the screen. And he shows you what he can, in many ways, seemingly attempting to not spoil the practically infinite amount of discoveries that will be available in No Man's Sky. He knows that there is so much in this game, yet he seems very determined to ensure that very little of it is spoiled through, through press coverage. And I think that there's something really wonderful about that. You could look at that in a negative manner and say to yourself, well, he's probably just hiding, what the game is actually about. But I don't think that's the case. I think he very much does want people to enjoy No Man's Sky for the first time, with very little having been spoiled for them. And that is something I've talked about in the past. That is an experience that is far and few this day and age. With the technology that we have and the way that video games are covered, you practically know everything about a game before you'd even played it. Long gone are the days of booting up a game and 4 hours in, finding a weapon or some sort of an area in the map that you didn't even know existed. No Man's Sky seems to be a game designed entirely around that concept of finding things you didn't know exist because the developers didn't know they existed because you generated them when you moved to that area of the world. Mind blown. And when I look at No Man's Sky in that way, even if the game somehow didn't deliver in certain smaller aspects, like maybe the trading wasn't as great as, as we thought it was going to be, or the combat wasn't as great as we thought it'd be. That concept alone, to me, is very special. That does something for me. Because, boy, would I love to boot up something like Fallout 4, come November, and be completely taken away by a feature in the game. But the thing is, I'm not going to be. I'm going to know just about everything that is inside of that game on a conceptual level, on a game component level before it even releases. Are there going to be bits and pieces of the story that I'm unaware of? Yeah, of course. But I'm going to know just about every weapon in the game and every little creature and being. There's going to be very little that is going to surprise me. I'm sure there will be some, but nothing on the level of what No Man's Sky is going to be capable of doing. Going to a brand new planet, discovering it for the very first time, knowing that there are millions of other gamers doing exactly what you're doing, making first discoveries. It's something that MMOs try and do. A lot of games are trying to bring that sort of thing back. Avatar, Albion Online, what I was playing the other day, you know, very much trying to give this essence of you were the first person there, you sort of captured that point. Elite is very much trying to do the same thing with their procedural generation, and Star Citizen is looking to also reach, you know, and touch on that concept a little bit, the idea of going someplace for the very first time. Star Wars Galaxy was big on this, you know, you were the very first person there. But being able to deliver that sensation to millions of people because your world is so large, you've accomplished something very special in doing that. And I'm very much looking forward to playing No Man's Sky because of that. Now, recently, IGN did a bunch of coverage, their IGN First coverage. I commend you to go watch it. No matter how much you want to have some sort of a grudge against them, IGN First covers some really awesome games before anyone else, and we got to see a little bit of No Man's Sky over there that was very exciting. And some of the mechanics that were sort of revealed to us, one that I found to be very interesting and was very much Grand Theft Auto inspired, was an actual wanted level system. So basically you have stars, 5 stars, similar like you would in GTA, and there are enforcers in the galaxy, in the universe of No Man's Sky, that will hunt you down if you decide that you're just going to go around and kill innocent space goats. Maybe you decide that you just want to terraform an entire planet because you find it to be fun. You want to carve your name in the side of a Saturn-like planet. Well, the enforcers don't like that very much. You can't just destroy the universe. There are going to be penalties for that, and that is where the enforcers come in. And as you get a higher level star rating, different enforcers on different planets and different parts of the universe and different star systems will try and bring you down and kill you. That is just so cool to me, like, the idea that you aren't just free to do whatever you want. There are rules in this universe, as infinite as it may be, and as expansive as it may be. There are rules, there are people who are going to, you know, try and change and alter the way that you interact with certain parts of the game. It's nice to see that it's not as open and as ridiculous as, you know, I initially thought. There are more core elements, and a lot of that still isn't being shown to us, you know. Again, Shawn Murray is very hesitant to showcase very specific components of the game, like how trading works, you know, how, you know, sort of squad combat works. He's just very bare bones is what he's showcasing, and there isn't even a small part of me that thinks it's because these components don't exist. It's because he wants us to experience it for the very first time. And as I said, once again, in just that alone, the way that he wants this game to be delivered to the consumer, to players, to other people, to me it's like he's doing some high-level stuff, you know? He's thinking beyond sales numbers and building hype. Him himself says he doesn't want to build some sort of hype around the game. He wants to showcase it for what it is, and then let people explore everything else. And to me that is like, you know, that is the it's the opposite of what everyone else is trying to do in the industry. And luckily, Hello Games is very much an indie developer. They're a very small studio who is using brains and math and, you know, just intelligence to create something that most AAA studios wouldn't even imagine they could build with 1,000+ people. So without even knowing anything about No Man's Sky and having not played it and seeing very little of it, I think you can speak on the way it's being presented by its developers, by Shawn Murray and by Hello Games, and that alone gives me, like, you know, this really wonderful sense of what this game is going to be about, you know, on a much more general scale. And for those reasons, I am very excited for No Man's Sky. They haven't hyped me with fancy, crazy trailers and, you know, all this nonsense. What they've actually hyped me with is, you know, like upfront knowledge and information on how they built No Man's Sky, what they want to do with it, and what, you know, what they're going to give to players without spoiling, like, probably 99.9% of the game. And as I said, that is all very, very special. So, it doesn't look like we're going to be seeing any more of No Man's Sky. IGN First covered it, you know, I mean, it's just like, it looks to be a very hard game to demonstrate. You know, during the PlayStation conference at E3, Shawn Murray came out and he said, I only have 15 minutes. I'm just going to try and like show you the scale and then just go a place. And that was it. You know, he didn't get to spend very much time on any given planet. And with a game of that scale, I imagine you'd have to have like a 30-minute to, you know, 1 hour sort of video to actually showcase, you know, even one small component of the game. And I'm okay with that. I really do just want this to be one of those games that I experience for myself. And the fact that I'll be able to play something like this on the channel and constantly discover things that others aren't discovering is like it's just this insane feeling. Like, one of the most special things about making videos on YouTube is often a sense of discovery that you can share with the people who are watching, something that hasn't been seen anywhere else, that you're seeing for the first time, and for the most part, that people who are watching are seeing for the first time. But it's very difficult to capture something like that in most games, apart from the random crazy bug or glitch that happens in Grand Theft Auto. Like, oh, look at how that car shot through the ground and exploded out the other side of that building. That was a bug, you know, that was really cool. That doesn't happen every day. Instead, No Man's Sky is going to deliver, you know, non-broken, buggy, glitchy experiences. Instead, it's like, hey guys, thanks for watching. We're going down to this planet. Let's see what we find. Oh my god, look at that. Look at this. Like, that's really cool. And I think that that is going to be a game that takes sort of Twitch to a whole nother experience in a lot of ways. Something I'm very looking forward to watching on Twitch and, you know, very much looking forward to playing on the channel for as many hours as I can possibly put into it. So that's it. I don't really have anything else I can say about No Man's Sky, and I'm probably not going to cover it on the channel ever again until we can actually play it. Hopefully we're getting some sort of a release date very soon. It is nice to see that we are going to be seeing a release for PS4 and PC at the same time, actually, I believe they said. So that's cool. No word on the Xbox One yet, but hey, they've got PC covered and they've got PS4 covered. That's at least 2 out of the 3. Let me know your thoughts on No Man's Sky. I know a lot of people are going to have a lot to say about this game, but think about what I've said here. And try and ask yourself, when was the last time you played a game that you knew less than 50% about it? You know? And I don't mean, like, you know, the intricate details, the, you know, the sort of mastery components of the game. I mean the game itself. You know, like, when was the last time you picked up a first-person shooter, you know, played it for 2 hours, and found a weapon that you didn't know exist? I'd have to go back to Half-Life 2, like the original, when it launched on PC. That's really where I would have to go back to. So let me know, you know, the last game that provided you that experience. Throw it down in the comment section below, get some discussion going, and I'll see you in the next one.